Yakko, Wacko, and Dot are back for more wacky hijinks throughout the ages, whether it be in the ancient Roman Colosseum, being apprentices to Ben Franklin, or throwing a Super Sweet 16 party for Warner Brothers CEO Nora Narita's daughter Cora Narita. The Warners even dive deep into their own history, going through animated archives, rejected sitcom plots, and even their own DNA. Also, Pinky and the Brain are back for more adventures. And only Pinky and the Brain are back for more adventures. Also, Yakko is getting very desperate to try to do his Countries of the World song again, so I guess there's also that. This is Animaniacs Season 2, and yeah, this one's kind of tough. There was a lot of really good parts of this season. I think it was, again, a lot of the jokes hit. They worked. It's just, there's kind of a lot of repetitiveness in this season as well. It's just, they straight up copied a skit from the original Animaniacs. They do one where it's the Warners on Noah's Ark, and it's like, yeah, that was a Slappy Squirrel skit back in the previous show. And again, I like Pinky and the Brain. I've got nothing against Pinky and the Brain, but there was more to Animaniacs supporting cast than just Pinky and the Brain. And I understand there's something to do with, I don't think it's an ownership deal with the writers, but apparently because certain writers wrote certain characters really well, like no other writer could try to take a crack at that character, and that's just kind of stupid. Like, I want to see Slappy Squirrel back. I want to see the Good Feathers back. Heck, I would even settle for, not Rita and Runt. Well, Rita and Runt as well, I guess. Although Bernadette Peters might not be available. Buttons and Mindy, that's the one I'm thinking. I'd rather see Buttons and Mindy again. And they've tried. They do these two new characters they did in the previous series as well. They did, Starbucks and Cindy, which is basically Buttons and Mindy, but with an alien. And then they did, this gnome thing where it's the gnome that lives in people's mouths and settles their arguments for them. Yeah, and it just doesn't work. It's like, those really don't work very well. Like I said, some of the skits, there's some good in here. There's a skit where the Warners do their own version of Oliver Twist. There's a Pinky and the Brain that sees the return of Julie, the female mouse that Brain tried to brainwash into being president, only for it to blow up in his face. We see that coming back. We see a unique look through Pinky's eyes at his relationship with Brain, where you get the idea of Pinky celebrating his birthday and actually getting to do something other than try to take over the world. That's a really unique episode, but still, there's other ones where it's like, we did this before. Like, there's 3 or 4 Pinky and the Brain segments that are literally Brain trying to take over the lives of Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, and that guy who runs Venezuela, whose name escapes me. It's just, that's where it really kind of rings hollow, and it seems like you're desperately reaching here, guys. Like, maybe where if you had an expanded supporting cast, we could have, split some of these Pinky and the Brain segments out a little bit and substitute something else in. And it doesn't, yeah, exactly. It's like, Pinky and the Brain is great, but too much Pinky and the Brain is not so great. And like I said, there's kind of a repetitiveness for it. And some of the jokes, do fall flat. Like I said, there's a My Super Sweet 16 reference. Is that still a thing? I know MTV tried to revive it a few years back, but especially nowadays, I don't think it would fly very well. But yeah, I don't see the point in doing that type of referencing. There's a lot of Pinky trying to be a YouTuber. YouTube this, YouTube that, Metacon. Yeah, like, okay, you're like, I think you're skewing way too much in the other direction too. Like, just tell good segments with good jokes, and more often than not, they work. And there's just so few. There's ones where it's just there's a lot of clunkers. Like I said, there's some really good ones, and then there's some really, really bad ones. There's ones where it's just like, it's hyped up as being a big part of the show. Like, this is where you see the big Thundercats ripoff they did, or parody, I should say. But that's just like a 30-second clip that's an opening to an episode. But I will say this again, there are some really good points in this. There's an episode where the opening gets interrupted for embedded advertisements, and how Yakko talking about how data mining is selecting the perfect advertisements for these things, and it's like, so if you're into this, and this, you might like this product. And there's like one was basically a correspondence school to train to be at the Department of Motor Vehicles, and how to keep people waiting and telling them they're in the wrong line and they need to be in this line, but I just came from this line and all that stuff. Like, that works. That was funny. There's what was the other one? Sorry, there was another one I think hung really, really well through there. What was it? It was Yakko doing a Shark Tank / Dragon's Den thing, but with Wacko and Dot. But they say you have to do it, but you have to do it without making it into a song, and it's like and so you see him kind of struggling to do that at some points. And another point, aliens make Yakko sing basically the history of the planet Earth. So like there were some really good points in there too, but unfortunately, it's just really uneven, and like I said, really repetitive, where they're copying, even some of the Pinky and the Brain overall plots just feel like really repetitive. Like, Pinky, the last Pinky and the Brain short is them trying to be folk singers. It's a parody of Simon and Garfunkel. But it's like, it's no different from Brain trying to be a country music star and taking over the world that way. So it doesn't work exactly. It's like, you've already done this, and that's where it just leads up to feeling really clunky and flat, unfortunately. I wish this were a lot better. I'm going to be giving Animaniacs Season 2 a C. It's just really kind of average, unfortunately. Like I said, there's some really good, but there's a lot of really bad, and so it just evens out to average.
Say your prayers, varmint. Chili.
Need this. Hey, look where you're going!
Darling! Run wild with the Animaniacs in Hollywood on your Sega Genesis and Super NES. Collect props and scripts before Pinky and the Brain take over the world. It's Konami's Animaniacs video game.
I give it 4 stars.
I give it 5.
Okay, so right now, the very loose plan is I'm probably going to have another Madden video, which is going to be kind of an overall update vlog type thing, where I talk over some Madden footage and update where I am in that. And then after that, it's going to probably be the random trade review on Birds of Prey of Like Minds. And then after that, it should be the Survivor Series recap and review. Because, yeah, even I kind of forgot that Survivor Series was coming up. It shouldn't be too terrible. It's at least I hope not. I'll try to see if I can get that up a little bit better than I did the previous pay-per-view. It was Extreme Rules. So hopefully that'll go better. There is also going to be another pay-per-view after that, which is, well, not really a pay-per-view, but it's NXT War Games. So we'll get our first NXT 2.0 show. So I guess we've got that going for us. See you all next time. Hey guys, remember, you can help support my channel at patreon.com/SleepyTimeForCat Productions, where you can help request a movie, even if it's something like, say, Sonic the Hedgehog or the next Purge film. I'll review it.